Welcome to the Heartwork Podcast, where we delve into stories, struggles, and triumphs of entrepreneurship, leadership, and personal growth. I'm Dr. Sarah.
And I'm Dr. Marisa. We're here to guide practitioners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and those just navigating the complexities of life on a journey of discovery that explores the dance between passion and strategy, heart and hustle.
With candid conversations, insightful interviews, and plenty of laughs, get ready to uncover how leading with heart can transform your business and life. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to another episode of the Heartwork Podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, today is a little fun. It's a get ready with me podcast, but only for me, Marisa. So you may hear some fun ASMR in the background. But Sarah and I were just yapping and we decided to press record because, oh my gosh, one of my team members, Olivia, told us a story of going to the dentist, and she said she walked in and the receptionist was like looking down. She had been chewing gum in her mouth, and as soon as like Olivia then got towards the front desk, she looks up and she's chewing. She goes, "Can I help you with something?" Like her eyebrows are raised and she's just looking like so unbothered. And Olivia had like a visceral body response, like, "Oh my God, my office would never." And so she shared that with us in the front office, and I was dying. And I literally said, "Yeah, absolutely not. If I ever thought that was happening, I would crawl up your booty holes, come out through your mouth and be like, 'Hi, how can I help you today?'" Like literally force. There'd be no way. No way. But you really truly don't know or understand the impact of the culture and the experience that you create within your own service-based business, unless you're going and actually experiencing the opposite in other service-based businesses. There's something I say to people a lot, and I believe everyone should work in some kind of service at some point in their life and career to simply just learn like customer service skills, like interactive skills. Because it is so lacking sometimes. And it makes, like, she was like, the whole experience was just shut down from then. Like, I did not care. It actually made me not want to ever go there again. Like, I was just unbothered. And it was literally 5 seconds of someone asking you a question, but it was every bit of undertone, presence, kindness, like excellence that just completely was not there and totally drained the situation.
It's so crazy that that unfortunately you have to experience that to know when something is also better. I think sometimes you can also get like so lost. Like I know that we create such an amazing experience for people, but sometimes you also can take it for granted until you go somewhere that you experience the opposite, or maybe it's just not to the level of care or brilliance or any of that. And the reason why we even just started about this, like we both had situations, but I also just got off a phone call with a landscape company that I'm using for my home. And they're normally like, this company is one of these companies that they will literally go above and beyond. They're like a leadership culture, like company to the core. So this was strange for them. However, it's also just shows like how it affects you. Like they're not even a service. Well, they are a service-based like company, but in a different way, right? So, and I submitted a deposit, never heard any type of communication from them for about a week and a half. And I called this morning and was like, I called, it was actually out of hours. Nothing was there. They weren't there. And so then their front desk, she called me or texted me and just said, "Hey, just wanted to check in. Can I help you with anything?" And then I just texted her back. And then she immediately called me. And she was like, "So can I just tell you the scenario, what's happening?" And she was telling me what's the process is now within their system to be able to get to the communication for clients. And I was like, "Well, I totally understand that. But I think the thing that was so glaringly different for me was this is not how you guys have done that before. You guys were always huge communicators in the past. And at the end of the day, like I paid something a week and a half ago and with no confirmation that you got it for one. And also that I knew that I was just looked at and that was like, you guys accepted my proposal or like my acceptance of the deposit, I guess, for the project." And so she's like, "Yep, I literally had mentioned to the people that we need to be able to send an email out or something that confirms that you got the deposit. And now I'm going for best practices that, hey, I just talked to another client that this needs to happen. We need to make sure this goes first and like foremost immediately." And so it's just kinda wild, like, it can be something so simple like that, but that itself is still customer service. Like, how are you handling
Mhm.
your clients? How are you handling their processes in and out? Um, how are you communicating? What is your email processing? What's your texting? Like, it all goes hand in hand, not even just in the front end, like, person to person type process, but it all is relevant for customer care and also for how you take care of your people. And it can literally be a make or break for how somebody wants to utilize your services. Like, if I hadn't heard from them, I probably been like, "Give me my money back."
Well, I
Truly.
think that's yeah, the experience too, in the sense of like, also, you have now a standard of expectation because they have continued to create an excellent experience. So this is also where it comes back to like training and when you naturally may have new people a part of things, or you do create like a new system or SOP. How do
Right.
you make sure that you maintain that? Because then if people have come to expect a certain behavior from you and they've trusted that and they love that and that's why they patron your business because they know that you care about that. It, side note aside, I was just listening the other day to someone talk about this. I don't know, it was just a random Instagram reel that came up, but he was like, "I will not do business with anyone who does not take care of themselves." Like, if you're a salesperson and you're showing up to me and you're asking for a, five-figure deal, a six-figure deal, and you're showing up like you're sweating, maybe you're not taking care of yourself in a physical manner, you can just tell that you don't care about the upkeep of your clothes. It's like if you can be that lazy with your own presentation, how are you going to be with the service that you're gonna provide for me?
Sure.
And it's like, it's kind of brutal and it's kind of harsh, but it's true. Like, if you can't even control or like dictate your own discipline in any
Mhm.
arena of your life, what does that mean about how you're going to care for me?
Right.
And so when people then experience a different level of excellency and service from you than they have come to expect, that can really turn off those customers. And so in our field, especially with chiropractic, we're taking care of health. Like, I think this comes up a lot, not only with team members, especially if your team members are doing, consultations and health histories and assessments and whatnot, but also when you're bringing on new associate doctors, right? Like, there's a cadence and a rhythm and a conversational relational equity that people get used to. And not that everyone has to be exactly the same, but there's still a level of what we do, what our core values are, and what we stand for, and how that shows up in every single interaction that we have, regardless
Mhm.
of who's behind the interaction.
I was just thinking about it as you're saying that. I know that there's so many people, like, I have a lot of people on my team that have gone to OBs, like, medical doctors, like,
Mm.
having people behind, like, a wall of, like, a glass wall, and they'll open it up, like, "How can I help you?" And, like, give 'em a clipboard type thing. And then it just made me think about my dentist because I love my dentist, and I go back every single time because of the care, and also they're a holistic dentist, and they're the
Mm.
only one in our area. So, like, it's the only way that I can get the care that I desire. However, I literally tell and pre-frame every single person when they go into if I recommend them, the person at the front desk, she is literally sunshine on earth. She is just so beautiful and so brilliant, and she knows every single person's name. She's just lovely.
Aw.
And, however, but the whole ambiance of the place, like, it's just like there's no music playing. It's dead quiet.
Oh, no, that's
There
the worst.
there's no music. It's like it's this, like, kind of, like, old and dingy. It's kind of they haven't done any type of, like, upgrades to the
Upgrade.
office. Not it's just you know that you're not gonna get the most like, besides her and how she interacts with you, you're just not gonna get any type of, like, happy feels the minute you step in that space. However, again, their care is fantastic. I love them. I keep going back. But it goes to show it's like you can also have beautiful customer care. It doesn't have to be so great, but I literally have to pre-frame to people, you're not gonna get what you get here if you go there. Just for the sake of understanding, don't bite my head off if it's not the same type of experience that you get when you walk in that space. So,
Amazing.
kinda crazy. I was also gonna this is something that I teach. I taught you as an intern, and I teach all of
Oh,
our
yeah.
people. We talk about for customer care and just like whether you're an online business, a chiropractor, service-based, brick and mortar, anything like that. Um, I talk about this, and I actually got this from a church, like guest services experience. They talked about this a lot, but it has sat with me so much with how we can embrace people and understand why we do what we do because you never know what that person's going through. So it's called the one day principle. And it's from the Bible. And it's this moment where Peter and John are literally going to the temple for prayer. And it's this routine for most people that they will go to this temple. They're going to go pray and they're going to go do all these things. But they were on their way to go pray. And there was this man that was sitting on the side that was crippled from birth, that basically this scripture talks about, who had been basically placed at the gate every single day of his life to beg for money, for beg for food, beg for support. Um, and and if you read that, it says crippled from birth. So if you think about crippled from birth, like his own perspective is of his life is like literally, this is all I got. This is my lot for life. I have nothing else. Like, and the only way for me to function and be a societal contribution to society is to be able to show up, beg for my food, beg for my money. And basically that's how I contribute to not only myself, my family, or potentially the community that it's a part of.
This whole identity.
His whole identity is based on that reality. And then if you would imagine, like I just think about like people that are so potentially like identity driven to something is broken in them, something is really hard, something is maybe they are to the reality of like if you think about a homeless person that's on the road asking for money and like begging for help. um, a lot of times their head is down. They don't look clean. They typically need a lot of support just from visually seeking them out.
Mhm.
They're malnourished. And at the end of the day, typically they're also very invisible. So you think about like how many times do you drive past a homeless person and don't acknowledge their presence?
Yeah.
I do it all the time. And I'm honest to say it. It's crazy. And so ultimately, if you think about this, like this individual from birth has been put in this place at the gate every single day of his life to beg. So he, for one, this human is not anticipating any other thing while other people are walking by than just the normal everyday type of a thing that they're going to treat me the same. They're going to see me the same. I'm invisible. I'm broken, all that. He's not actually expecting anybody to actually know him. That's
Mm.
his same spot, same expectation, same disappointment every single day. But what they said in the scripture, one day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Peter and John were on the way to the temple for prayer. I'm getting goosebumps.
You know it's gonna be good, guys. Perk.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Holy crap. Um, this one day was different. And Peter and John said to him, um, I don't have a nickel to my name, but what I do have, I give you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, walk. So in that moment, they looked at him. They asked him to look for that individual to look up to them and say to choose something different because they actually saw him for him, not for his brokenness, not for his malnourishment, not for in his mind, his uh, invisibleness.
Mhm.
They weren't necessarily also giving him coin, that weren't giving him anything else, but they were giving him the acknowledgement that he was more than what he thought his identity was. And he looked up different than that day, this one freaking day, something changed for this human. And literally in that moment, he got up and he was able to walk. Obviously, the power of Jesus, yes, but because they noticed him in that moment and they were able to take him to the temple and he was able to do all the things that he desired to do. Literally in that one moment, because somebody in these two
Okay.
humans
Yeah.
sat and said, I see you, I know you, and you have power inside of you. I don't have coin to give you, but I can give you what I do know. And kindness, love, care. And in that moment, that whole person's life completely, completely changed. That is why we fucking do what we do.
Yep.
It's crazy. Like if you think about it from that way and not in a manipulative way to where you are responsible for somebody's transformation, but just the opportunity that you get to show up for who and what is in front of you, you never know how it's going to transform somebody's world and somebody's life.
Mhm.
Without you having to be responsible for the transformation, you just get to show up and be the human being that we know that all of y'all are, and that we can love really big and we can love with care and love with so much intention. And then you just never know. You get to leave the rest up to God and show and share why freaking culture is so beautifully important.
And it's there so that you can anchor to it regardless of who is showing up day in and day out. Because sometimes especially when you're in our field and you're working with people that are dealing with a lot of pain, a lot of symptom, and a lot of health related identities. If it's been going on for long enough and they have been stuck in that, then yeah, it can get a little disheartening sometimes because especially
Sure.
for the team that's front facing, and working with a lot of those new people coming in, not everyone coming in is excited. They may be
Yeah,
excited for change, but they're literally sitting in the depths of their stuff.
yeah.
And you might have one opportunity to make a difference. And then with people that are coming back to you, because they trust you and they love your process and your place, like life is also not predictable and life is also not just made up of sunshine and rainbows. And so if you are the singular person that that person interacts with day in and day out, if they are working from home remote alone, if they've just gotten into the car, driven out from their cubicle, come to you and come back, maybe they also work in service and they've been dealing with a lot of people that got a lot of their own problems and shit and they're not,
Mhm.
keeping the way that they're showing up. Like, you might be that one place of solace. You may be that one place where a smile could make all the difference for then that person receiving an adjustment and a positive feedback loop in their nervous system and feeling safe again and walking out your door as a completely changed person
Mhm.
energetically. Like, you just don't know what other people are going through, and there's so many beautiful I feel like there's more and more, like, videos and memes and just photos out there now that really help you identify, like, each person. It's like, there's one video, it almost looks like a street in New York or a street in Chicago, and it's, like, all these little humans walking around, and they have a little blurb of, like, what each human could be going through, and you truly don't know that perspective, and we can get so bogged down in our own worlds that we forget that we're also here and energetically vibrating with other people. And just because other people are vibrating low doesn't mean that you have to. And you can also be a light vibration. Doesn't mean you have to give to others, but you can be a light vibration that other people may enjoy presence with. Which kind of brings us to another topic, which we're teasing and we will release in the next episode because we were recording this and it became an hour long really beautiful, tactical, practical, vulnerable share that you are going to love. So keep an eye out for our next episode release where we're going to dive even deeper with how this shows up in your team and culture and what kind of space you create in the name of having a positive team culture, but it's actually just you being a mother to your team with a mask on.
So thank you for joining us on another episode of the Heartwork Podcast. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to lead with heart in your business and life.
If you enjoyed this, subscribe so you never miss a release, rate our show, leave us a review, get on our VIP email list, and join our exclusive Facebook group, The Heartwork Life, to plug into our community and learn from us and other heart-led entrepreneurs on a weekly basis.
We look forward to chatting with you next time.
Bye!